Okay. For those who are running for the first time, the Virgin London Marathon, it's very interesting because you have done the training. I believe that nobody is just coming out there to run a marathon without training. So what I would advise you is just believe in your training. You have invested time and believe in it. And the more energy you spend in being nervous, the more energy you lose during the race. So keep your energy and keep your nerves together for the race. So good luck and I wish you well.
One of the things that people get quite concerned about is drinking on the run. The weather forecast is improving. Even if it's wet, it's going to be quite mild, quite warm. Did you practice drinking in marathons, and what would your advice be on that, taking on board water and fluids during the race?
During the marathon, I would suggest that whenever you feel like you are thirsty, don't overdo it, don't underdo it, but whenever you feel you are thirsty, then you drink. And it's rather to have a few sips frequently than big sips at one go, because you would get some speeches. So even if you are not thirsty, it's good to have some replenishment because you will need it later. So don't wait until you really feel like you are thirsty and then you drink it, but take a few sips whenever you have a chance and a break to do that, because it will help you at the end.
And everybody roughly knows that to avoid hitting the wall, they should carbohydrate load. And the school of thought is that maybe today is the big day for carbohydrates and then go back to normal on a Saturday.
What I have always done in my before a marathon is I did what I exactly, if I am at training and it went well, I did exactly what I did for that training. So I advise people not to go crazy, but follow your regime. What did you do before that big training that you were so nervous? Like I went to 18 miles. Did it went well? If it went well, same, it will go well in the marathon. So don't overdo it. Don't do anything crazy. Follow your regime, because that's the most important, because the more crazy you go, the more advices you listen, the more you will mess up with your running. So keep the regime, what you have been doing, be stable, and I would just say keep it simple.
And what did you like to do recovery-wise after a marathon? Did you take some time off running, or did you just carry on?
Yeah, after marathon it was very important for us, because this is where you let it go. You've been so concentrated for 4 months, and this is the point where you say, yeah, I just did it. And whether you are disappointed or you are happy because of the result, you let it go at least for some time, so that when you start, you are motivated again. So I took some time off completely, maybe not. Maybe still jog like half an hour a day, but for us, jogging half an hour a day is completely off.
Well, we should just put that in context. What would be your highest weekly mileage in preparation for a marathon?
When I was preparing for a marathon, I did up to 200 kilometers per week. 250 was.
So about 170, 180 miles a week.
Yeah.
Hands up, anybody else that's done 170 a week? Too many.
Yeah.
Let's talk about a couple of your other projects, because you're reinvesting into running in Kenya. You've got some women's programs going there. You've got the high altitude centre that the British team trains at and that the London Marathon supports. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, when I grew up in Africa and was doing sport, the only thing I looked up to was when my parents came to, when we were doing primary school competitions. And after that, when I realized that I had a possibility to become an athlete, I concentrated on training and becoming a lead, but there were no opportunities for that. It was a male-dominated sport, and I had to find my way out there to concentrate on my training. So what I did is, I was always like, if I ever win a lottery, I will want to do something back for women's sport, because they don't have to go through what I went. I didn't win a lottery, but I won several races, and the several races I won, I invested back in developing women's sport in Kenya. So we have the High Altitude Training Center, which was the first women training center in Africa. We had a lot of women's training in our center, but every time when they went out there running and they were successful, they would say, they want to tell me thank you. And I say, don't tell me thank you. Instead of saying thank you, you take other people on your board and train them, because I don't want to be doing this all the time. So they've been helping me out to spread the word for women's sport. And now the training center became a world famous place for all the athletes all over the world of all types, recreational runners, top athletes training. What we do there is very simple. We have an altitude of 2,400 meters high, that is 8,000 feet. We just train, eat, sleep, and we want to perform at the moment. And next to it is a sports academy, Lornah Sports Academy, which we are working on it. We just finished the first stage by building a all-weather turtle track in Africa. And what we realize as Kenyan runners is we have the talent, but because we are putting so much time in developing our talent, we miss the educational part. So we hope in the coming few years we will mix education and running at the same time and in altitude. And that's our ultimate dream.
I will just say your sportswear projects will last. Just to remind people that you ran 3 Olympics for Netherlands, the country of birth of your husband. You haven't raced since the London 2012 Olympic Marathon, but you do still have one eye on Rio. How do you do that if you haven't raced for 3 years?
Well, I have won lots of 4 times world championship I won. I went to 3 Olympics but was never lucky to win a medal. I came so close to number 4. I still would like to have that gold medal in Olympics. It's my dream and my hope that it will happen, and I think the only place it can happen now will be 2016 Olympics. I'm training hard, my training is going well. I didn't perform well in 2012 Olympics because I was injured and I had a pretty bad injury. But I believe that there is no challenge which is bigger than your dream. So I'm still going for it. And in the meantime, when I was waiting for my injury to heal, I got into other interesting things for women.
Away you go on the Lornah Sportswear range.
Yeah, so during my competitions, I was missing something, and when I see all these runners standing at the start line or at the finish line, and especially as a woman, I cared so much on how I look. Even with training, like I went to the track to do my speed work, it was very important for me how I look and how I feel. And every time when I get clothes which is not motivating, then my performance was a little bit lower. And I was like, there should be somebody out there who can make something for women, where women feel good, they look sexy, but still it's a performance line. I never found that somebody, and I decided to do it by myself. So I have a brand now called Lornah, and it's pretty interesting. It's all, I mix the colors and the atmosphere from Africa and translate it into the sports line. So it looks pretty. I have some of them. Our booth is just behind here. You can come and see all the African-inspired brands.
And a final question for everybody is, if you were running on Sunday and you could go hand in hand across the line with anybody, who would it be?
That's my husband, definitely. Because he's the guy, let me say he's the horse or he's the donkey. My husband has been the donkey of my career and of everything that I've been doing. So I'm there, I'm performing, but my training, my food, my rest, my schedule, my travel. So it's like, my husband is like my travel agency, the cook, the driver, everything. So if I had a chance to bring somebody over the finish line, it was my husband. That was the only thing I could thank him for.
Nice, we like that. Ladies and gentlemen, Lornah Kiplagat.